pavilion.
We have, you've done a lot this year.
Yeah, we have.
Now, on the south side of the.
No, not really. No, we're exhausted. We didn't let us sleep at that. So we were at camp. It was like a pod. It was horrible. But it wasn't horrible. It was bad. But yeah. And we weren't expecting a hotel, so we were okay. I mean, but it was not good sleep. So, but we were like up early.
Yeah, I didn't make it down. I didn't know there was anything good down there, so I didn't
We
go.
were looking at the schedule going,
Well, I
there's
just.
no time to do anything.
Yeah.
So,
Let's go ahead and get started. We've got quite a few images to get through, so
Well, sorry, I didn't.
I'll make a few quick announcements first. Upcoming events, we're going to do an outing up to Jasper Pulaski and also to Kankakee Sands. Kankakee Sands would be for the bison, and Jasper Pulaski area would be for the Sandhill Cranes. I'm planning that for November 20. I'll get that on the calendar and get an email out what our projected schedule is for that. November 17th is a webinar, Ethics of Wildlife Photography. That should be on the calendar already.
Good thing when it's before we go.
Yeah, good, yeah, it will be. It'll be 3 days before we go, so that'll be good. December 13th, we're still finalizing the details with Bob, but he's going to do a talk on drone photography. So we'll get an outline from him and finalize the details, and we'll get that on the schedule.
I'll do a demonstration with the,
Okay.
with the drone so you can see how it can work.
Sure, that'd be
Can you
great.
do that indoors?
We can use indoors. You can't, we have to be very cautious about it though. But I can, oh yeah, we can go indoors.
Oh,
Well,
wow,
we'll have the bigger room.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Not this one.
And then in December, I'm wanting to do a Christmas lights outing, and I'm still investigating exactly what we're going to do there. A lot of the areas I wanted to go to are mostly drive-through, and I think as photographers, we prefer to walk through. So we're still discussing that, and we'll get that on the calendar soon. Now, the first tonight, we're going to go through the PSA images. We have to send 6, and I think we've decided to start out with, we're going to go through them all and do an in and out to send, and then after that we will see where we stand, and if we have to put some more out, then we will. So go ahead and get the meeting started.
Yeah, we'll hope that's what's gonna happen here.
So we'll vote by hand.
Yeah, in or out, yeah.
Hi, okay. Are we voting yet, or we just,
Well,
Maybe
why
let's
don't
get
why don't
ready
you
to
get
start.
settled in, Mary?
okay,
Can we see the whole, can we run through them all?
Yes, we will.
Yeah, let's run through them all first.
that's a good idea.
And how many- and how
Thank
many-
you.
How many images?
There are 19.
There are 19,
Mary.
you can send 6, but we have to make sure that the same person doesn't send 2, so.
Okay, so we'll try the in and out and see.
Well, I missed you Saturday. I screwed up. I leave about 2 hours for you. You guys didn't show up, so I just moved.
So we're good with everything.
But I waited there until about 8 to 9 o'clock. And, yeah, they ate, very awesome.
Oh, okay. You want to look Charleston first?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I was waiting at Fox Ridge.
Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna just run through them as soon as I can get to the top here. Okay. That should do it. Can't do anything about the light. Okay, we're back to the beginning.
Yeah.
How many images are there?
19.
19.
We have 19, and actually we have 7 participants, and we need 6 images, one each from a different person. So we'll have a look at them. And let's see, right now, I've got them in order. They can be, I can put them in order by title or in order by participant or whatever. Suggestion? Somebody?
I think let's just go through them.
Just go through. Okay.
Are someone keeping track of the number of votes they get though? So if we get 2 from,
It's just in and
We're
out.
just in and outing,
oh, okay.
and
So.
What are we
we have to
gonna
have
say?
We have to have a majority for in, to keep it in, is that?
I think that's what we're gonna do, right? Majority is in.
yeah, majority is in,
Okay, there's 12 of us, I think.
there's 12, so if we have more than 6.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So we vote to keep this in? So vote if you want this in,
yeah,
right?
that's right in.
I think so, yeah. We have to, is there a way to grade it so you know it stays in?
I'm sorry, what was that?
So you mark it in?
It's in.
Okay.
Okay, how about the next one?
I wasn't there.
In or out?
In or out? In?
I don't think it made it.
That didn't make it.
Okay.
In or out.
In or out?
That stays in. In or out?
In or out?
In?
You asking for in?
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna get votes. In?
In.
Just 4, so it's out.
So, no, okay. I'm not hearing very well, so help me out.
In or out.
How many did you get there?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6.
7. Yes, yes, that's in. Okay, hands up for in. Okay, that didn't make it. Hands up for in.
That's it. That's it.
Hands up for in.
Looks like he's looking at it. Are you voting for me?
That one made it, didn't it? That one's in.
That's
That was in,
That
yeah.
one's in.
Oh, yeah, that's
Start.
Hands up for in.
What is
It's a jumping spider.
it? Oh, gross.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hands up for in. That's in.
That's it.
Hands up for in.
To be fair, the berries are much redder than this.
Yeah, just keep in mind the projector's a little washed out than what the colors really are.
Nope.
Okay.
Hands up for in.
Yep, that's in.
Hands up for in.
Okay. That's it.
Hands up for in.
Nope.
Yeah. No.
No. Hands up for in.
Okay, that's in.
Hands up for in. Yeah, it's definitely in. Hands up for in.
That's it.
It's in. Hands up for in. No, didn't make it.
Okay. Now we have 13.
Still have 13?
And we need 6. And I think I might take these and see just a minute if I can do that.
Yeah, I think I have more than one in.
Yeah, I have one more in.
All right, so.
How many makers are there?
So people who, let me see if we can get it, where we can see it.
Well, we only had 7 participants.
Yeah, how many?
Yeah, I
Can you
meant
tell how many makers there are?
Well,
in that 13.
I should have done it on a different list for that. Let's see here, we can put them up side by side. I can't do it there. I always lose the folder.
Yeah, let's see here, hold on. Where's the ones that we're in?
Are there any of the 7 makers that aren't in?
Where are the ones?
Well, here they are by maker, but it's not the same.
Right,
It's
so
not
what,
the ones.
so where are the ones that are definitely in? Is that here?
Yeah.
Or the ones that are in? That's here,
I
that one
can
here.
open this. It's in, the problem is it's in the fast run, and if I can get it out of there, I can set it up, but I.
Yeah, well, let's just go on to, that's where, those are the out ones. Here's the in ones. Click on that PSA by title. Okay, those are the ones that are in now. Let's see here.
Okay, so these are, all right, let's go through them, and if you have 2, tell us which one
Okay,
you want. If you have 2 or 3, tell us which one you want. How's that? And we'll see how many we end up with then. Or which ones you don't want, and I'll put them in a different out folder.
Well, we might want an opinion too. That
Yeah.
last one was out, I think.
Yeah, that one was out.
This one was out,
No,
Okay.
the one before
Bar.
that, the sepia one.
this one,
No,
this one was out.
that
That
one.
one.
Okay. Doesn't want to go. Oh, get out of there. Here. Cannot move miles with this one folder.
No, you went into the, you want me to try it?
Well, here it is. Oh, that's where I need to take it. That's okay.
There you
No problem.
go. Okay.
Duh. Okay. Okay, so. How about this list?
That's mine.
Okay, did you have a second one in?
Yeah, the pink cone.
Pink flower?
That
Okay.
one?
But I'd like an opinion.
Okay.
All over the house.
Yeah, I vote for the house too.
Okay.
Yeah,
That would have been my vote too.
very well.
Okay.
Okay.
We've taken care of Mary's then. And,
Okay, that one's mine, and I also had the spider, and like Mary, I'm open to an opinion.
okay, this and this.
So why don't you want spider?
I kinda like the spider.
The
I like
spider's very unique.
Oh, spider.
Sorry for the arachnophobes, but
No, no. Is that spider related to Dave Stone? You don't think spider? I remember. he was-
so yeah, that's fine with me. We'll just submit the spider.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll take out the bluebird.
What's the title of the spider?
Take off.
What's the what?
The title,
Title? Jumping Spider Peak something. Peekaboo.
oh, peekaboo, yeah.
Jumping Spider Peekaboo.
Okay.
What was it?
That was actually a hard shot to get, because it kept going behind the teasel, and it'd come out and it'd peek, and it'd go back, and it was kind of a hard one to get.
Well, at least it wasn't, Dave Stone had a jumping spider in his workshop on time, I can't remember, something about timing. And he said, this is the only shot I got of the jumping spider, because the next shot he was on my head. That's about the time I would drop my camera.
And this one, Alan, is this yours?
Yeah, I had that one and the hummingbird.
I love that.
I like that one. This is, I like that one.
Yeah, I like the hummingbird.
Okay, I'll take out B. All right, now,
What's the hummingbird called?
In the loop.
In the loop? Okay.
Or hummingbird in the loop, I guess I call it.
hummingbird in the lead. Okay, and this one, I think is, Susan, is it
Mhm.
yours? Do you have another one?
I
think.
do, I have that one, and was there the other one at the trees?
Which, this tree?
No, it was like a,
That,
was that one? Yeah.
That is.
that is, I love that one.
I do too.
Yeah, I love that one.
And it's a nice golden red.
Yeah, good framing. It was to like about that one.
I like this one too. This one, I love the
So
dimension.
enter that next time, Susan.
Okay,
Because you can
so,
enter them twice as long as they weren't sent into the PSA.
so this is the one that
Yes.
we want?
What's it called?
Smoky Mountains, Katie's Cove, I think.
Kate's Cove,
Smoky Mountain Caves
Katie's
Cove.
Cove.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so this
And
one, what?
is it that was your other one, Susan?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I love that one. Oof.
yeah, hard choices.
Oh, smoky.
Yep.
All right, now we have, Jim, and this one is yours, right, Jim?
This one is.
And this one, anything else, that's it,
No,
right?
no, I'd like an opinion.
That one is,
Okay.
this is that one. That's gorgeous. No.
What's that, Jim?
This is just a crystal with, a flat screen TV behind it.
Oh, that's cool.
Sort of like that workshop we
Yeah,
had on
workshop.
Zoom
Yeah.
with, I can't remember her name, from France. So,
Yeah,
that was,
I like this simply because of the, different, it's different.
It's different,
Yes.
yeah, that's what I like, it's different.
I mean, I like the landscape, that's great, but this one is kind of,
Yeah.
okay, what's the
I don't
title?
know.
Reflections, I thought, the label.
I have landscape.
Yeah, reflection.
No,
not that one.
not that one,
Oh,
the glass.
The glass.
The glass is the one we're gonna keep.
oh, yeah, right.
Right,
So-
right. Yeah.
title.
Okay. So now we have this one,
What was the title, Martha, on the,
silence,
Martha,
silence
Martha, go back to the crystal,
to the crystal.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Reflections.
Okay.
I'm sorry, this and that. Okay, that was that.
now we got it, now we got
And now this is silence.
No, we are 6.
And then we have, but we still have the Smoky Mountains. And that was the solstice though, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we got
We
6.
got that one already.
We've got
Yeah,
6.
we got our 6.
I only have 5.
One,
Oh, what was the tree?
it, it's silence,
Silent.
Silence.
silence.
And it's yours, Kim?
it's mine, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so abandoned farmhouse, Mary,
Okay.
and hummingbird in the loop, Alan,
Okay.
and jumping spider,
Peekaboo.
peekaboo.
Is peekaboo one word?
Yeah.
Usually they're hyphenated, but however you wanna do
It's
it.
just one word here, but
Yeah.
with capital
Okay.
letters, peek-a-boo.
Okay.
But, okay, and that's Steve, right?
Yeah.
And then Jim has reflections
Yes.
and, come on,
Whose picture is this?
who's this?
Kim.
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 Has silence,
Yeah, that's nice. It's
and
nice photo.
Smoky Mountain
That's in the
Cave
Smoky Mountains.
Cove
That's the cave
Was that the
stuff.
morning that we?
That was the morning, yeah.
is Susan. Yay.
Yeah. Good job, everybody.
I'm gonna pass around what do you call it? We have to send into the PSA. Kim's gonna scan it in. Since I have one, I'll go ahead and do it first.
Yeah, you just have to sign your name if you've got an entry in there, so that, give them permission for them to put it on the website, that's what they,
If you
if
win.
you win.
So far, Dave Stone's been the only one who actually won an honors, so.
So if we've done it already, we need to still do it again.
Well, Kim and I interpreted it that way.
Okay, I mean, better to say.
The email from Nancy Speaker, it sounded like we needed to do it again.
Okay, that's no problem. Before we get started on the other stuff, I have,
Yeah.
best in show kind of poster things, people wanna take some and post them, if you have places
I will.
to put them up.
Okay.
Here's our display over at Phillips Center. I'll pass it around.
Talk to me when we're done with,
Okay.
not some. As many as you want.
I think I picked up some.
Okay, now we go into long exposure now, don't we?
I asked for a little.
Now we're going to the lung exposures and we'll just have each person,
Right.
uh,
Now, do you have them separated out by person or not?
yeah,
Okay,
they're separated by person.
okay.
And so the person can get up there and give their speech or stand where they are, I guess, if that works for
That's at
people.
the Phillips Recreation Center, so the Phillips Recreation Center.
Oh.
This exhibit
You're gonna use black,
for us.
Probably
Everything's in the best shape.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a lot of our images, Phillips images, just to give people an idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Recognize this,
It is a
recognize
nice
this.
display, it is a nice time.
How are those mounted before? Are you on it?
It's in a display case with glass on the outside, so it's a sunken, well, I mean, it's 3D.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the long exposure challenge. She has them separated out by the person, so when your photos are up, you're welcome to come up and explain a little bit about each one, where it was done, and settings if you're willing to share, any story behind it.
Okay, Al, you start with A.
Okay. So, this is the shot, without any long exposure, just so you can kind of see the difference. So this is at Walnut Point last Saturday. And I think this was Whippoorwill turn off there before you get to the dam. And I'm just looking across the water, and you can see the wind was blowing, so it's kind of ripply. So if we go to the next shot,
And then,
similar, but you can see that's about, I don't know, 1 second exposure. Kind of smooths out the water some. Okay. Again, that's about a 1 second, maybe a little bit, 1.5 second.
Did you get a filter out?
Yes.
and more,
And then this was about a 3 second exposure.
that's
So it
interesting.
helps flatten out the water.
Does it seem smoother when you can see it up close?
Yeah,
Does it?
I think so.
All right.
And then I threw in a couple more from past photos. This was the marathon a couple of years ago. And he's zooming by a lot of slower runners. But even that was like 1/10 of a second, and you can see what it does. So I'm panning and a longer exposure, so you get that movement. 1/10 of a second.
10th of a second.
10th of a second, yeah.
And then, let's see.
See if I can get down to the next thing here.
And this, of course, was Neowise, Comet Neowise. This was, I think, a 20-second exposure.
Let's have a look if I can get the mouse to go over there. Come on, mousey, go. I don't want to.
Oh, 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah. Wow. That's neat.
It's a good shot.
And it does show up better on the original flight.
And then I think the last one is something in Chicago. Obviously, the water tower, and got a bus going by.
That's neat.
Yeah. And that one was 5 seconds. Wow.
Just a bus, it was just one bus.
There might have been some cars too, but the bus is what gives it the height. The biggest problem with those is you're sitting on the street, and as you go by, the streets are rumbling.
Yeah, or somebody drives up and their lights are right in your camera, something like that.
I like the stars, the
Yeah.
light, is that the, like, is the?
Did you change your f-stop to make that star?
It's like F-16, wasn't it?
I don't know, yeah, I think so. I mean, I probably had it stopped down to give it longer, because I don't think I had any filters on this.
Okay, thank you. Anybody got any other comments, questions? All right. Jim?
Yeah, this is, the Dark Sky Park over, at the Middle Fork River in, north of Danville and, the Milky Way, and there's Jupiter, right? Even though it's called the Dark Sky Park, there surface lights if you keep your exposure open 20 seconds.
And that light on the right-hand side, is that Danville or?
I think it's farm lighting, but,
Oh,
again, this
okay.
is with 20 seconds, so, or 25 seconds, so. You don't, it doesn't look like that when you're using your eye, but if you leave the shutter open, it backlights the trees.
In some ways it enhances it, doesn't it, to get the backlighting?
Yeah, for the trees.
Adds a different dimension.
Mm-hmm.
So what could you see with your eye, just the stars?
You see the Milky Way, but it's faint. And then you see the stars, and you see the planets. And again, this is when the moon, when you have a new moon, so there'll be no moon.
Mm-hmm.
And the blue moon is, I mean, not the blue moon, the Milky Way is obvious when you're looking at it
Yeah, you
with the
can see
naked
it.
eye.
You can see it, but it's not as bright as this. So this is better than your eye can see.
Wow.
What time of the year was this?
Summer. Summertime.
Is there a place to pull off to set your tripod up?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a parking lot behind that barn. So you walk behind that barn to get away from the road.
Oh, okay.
And you can park right behind that barn.
No.
And there's guys with telescopes there looking up at the sky.
Okay.
There's a couple from, this is, okay, this one's a Badwater Basin, which is in Death Valley. And, it used to be probably an inland lake, but, it dried up and just left all this thick salt. And, it was right around sunset, just after sunset.
How long of exposure was that?
I don't recall, do we have the exposure?
Come along, let me see. Here.
Okay.
There's,
3/10.
3/10 of a second. Not much.
Yeah, it's funny how fast the moon moves.
Yeah.
I'm looking, trying to take a long exposure. It's,
Yeah.
and again, this is, the same, the, Dark Sky Park over, by the river, Middle Fork River,
Without the barn.
without the barn. And here you can see the parking lot, and there's a car parked there. One guy had his telescope
there's a
and
lot of
a
light
light.
over Dark Sky.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Tell that farmer to turn his lights on.
Yeah.
And this is, just Meadowbrook Park. That pathway that you go down to walk around the big circle. This is like, maybe 4 in the morning.
So there's
The long
morning,
exposure allows the light from the street to light up the grass. If you just use your eye, it looks somewhat dark, pretty dark.
That's nice.
so there's morning light in the sky then, the blue?
I think it's about 4 in the morning, so it's before the astronomical sunrise.
How do you decide the length of exposure?
I take a few shots and see which is best.
Trial and error.
Trial and error. Trial and error is always.
And again, this is a International Dark Sky Park. 20 seconds.
20 seconds, yeah, well. So the stars, some of them look a little bigger in that amount of time. That's good.
It's amazing how many stars there are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Leave your shutter.
Other questions? Thank you, Jim. Now we have Kim.
This is a great smoking mountain. You'll see a lot of these pictures. I haven't really did anything with long exposure, and I just decided I was just gonna do it that weekend. So, yeah, Susan and I went to the Great Smoky Mountains for a photo workshop. And yeah, I don't use my tripod, I usually don't, I don't like it. But I forced myself to use it all weekend. And then I used the practice the long exposure, so I just really, and I kind of did, I just tried different ones, and I really liked this one.
This is
And are those rhododendron on the side, or
It is,
so that in the spring, like in May, that would be all pink?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was just lost.
Is a filter, do you use a filter on it?
I use polarizer.
Polarized.
Yeah, another thing I don't normally use, that I needed to, it made a big difference, the polarizer did it. And when we were there, it rained the whole, like Saturday and Sunday, it rained the whole time. And we were out in it, but our images turned out great.
There wasn't a lot of sun, so we didn't need to put on a digital density filter, the polarizer just
Yeah,
did it.
yeah, rain can actually be a good thing sometimes.
It was for the colors, it was wonderful, it was just miserable.
It was, but,
So were you,
For the people.
were you in the water for this, or was it?
I was on a bridge.
Oh, okay.
So you had more saturated colors because of it.
Mhm.
It was so.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how long it was open?
How long was it?
Let's see.
Yeah.
1.5.
1.5 seconds.
Okay, next one, let's see here.
Smoky Mountains again.
That was really lovely.
That one was.
Quarter second.
Quarter of a second.
Did you try different shutter speeds just to see? what you
I
get?
had a couple that, and it was, again, it was, I don't know, just actually right at this point, but it was hard to see in the back of my camera, so I think I just
Okay.
started taking them, but
This is that death trap, wasn't
it
it?
was, you had to get down the rocks, you had to go over the sketchy bridge, down the road a little.
They were slippery because it was
Yes,
raining.
it rained. But it was quite good.
It was worth it.
Yeah,
You just
This is another one.
yeah,
did a
same.
good job of capturing that flow.
Yeah, that was good.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, I'm.
That's great.
I like the first one.
Were they all kind of said the same?
Shutter on that one.
That one's
Quarter of a second.
quarter of a second also. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I think you hit it right. I think
So
sometimes,
tell what the JPEG, what the shutter speed and stuff is, what she's using,
yeah,
that's interesting.
sometimes when you do that, it's too long an exposure and then it doesn't look right.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
too,
just too fluffy, too smooth. And see, and this one I didn't like as well. I like the other one better.
Is that a different shutter speed?
Yeah, this one was,
yeah, I think the movement of in the previous ones,
so
the
that was a
movement of the
quarter.
water at the top and the bottom is more defined.
So what was it, go back,
Oh, this one, what was the speed?
yeah, what was so yeah.
15.
15.
just depends on how fast the water's moving.
Yeah.
That's nice. I wish we had some running streams around here.
Yeah, it'd be good to
Well,
get a
there's-
practice.
The waterfall at Lake of,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's artificial.
it is artificial, yes.
Okay, good. Couldn't make it out of there. Didn't very much.
And then again, this is the same river, I just got close up by the rocks near it. And it was different, I like the look. It just do different.
And I like your,
Oops, I'm sorry.
focus on
The slippery rocks,
Yeah,
very slippery rocks.
And there was somebody that sat down in that.
Yeah.
it does, it looks like some kind of,
He had his waders on, but he was sitting down, he just plopped himself down.
Well, some of the photographers brought waiters.
Oh, yeah.
They were, so yes.
That was smart, I guess.
There was like 25 in the group from all over.
And there was different, a wide range of, experience. There was the guy that had all the gear and had his waders, and there was a woman didn't even know what kind of camera she had. She had never shot with it. She'd usually used her phone.
Yeah, that's another one,
That's
that's
one of
different.
the instructors.
Yeah.
That's on Tremont Road, and that's where the institute, Tremont Institute is where we had the workshop at, which is on Tremont Road. It's actually the Townsend entrance to the park.
How did you find them?
Just,
Yeah, we were just searching, I was searching for workshops and found this one, I thought, oh, yeah,
Got a good one.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Thank you. These are mine, and most of them I just dug up something old, because I wasn't getting out much. This is a Ferris wheel in Pana, and it's an amazing 2.5 seconds. I can't believe it was, that the shutter was open that long. Because the people are not so horribly blurry. Can't explain now. I would have
did you
thought,
have a filter on there, Mary? Because the sky didn't seem to lighten up that much either.
did I have a filter?
Uh-huh.
Probably not. I think it was night or very, very late in the day. In fact, that's probably the case. Probably the sun had gone down, but with a bit of time. So, I don't know, but I looked and said, oh, that's amazing. This one is a kind of a Christmas time one from Toledo, Illinois, and turned out nice. I can't remember how long that one took. Let's see if I can get it over there. Come on, there we go. Yeah, 0.5 of a second. So, didn't take very long, took a nice picture. Now, the next two are things that I did after this club did painting with light. And this one was 13, I don't know, wait a minute, is that right? Yeah. 13 seconds. But it was dark. It was just dark in the room. And I had a flashlight with a tiny hole in a cardboard on the front of the flashlight. And just shined it, and, you know, trial and error, and that's what you get. You know, 31 seconds.
1 second.
Amazing. But anyway, the more time that I had, the more painting I could do. And it was pitch black in that room, except for my tiny flashlight. So that was fun. And the next one is that way too. Let me see what it got. It was 25 seconds. And I just really liked how this one turned out with all of the kind of smudges of the lights around it. So that was a couple of long exposures that I did long ago. And now a couple of recent ones. Let's go to the next one. This is Walnut Point. It is how much? It is 0.2 of a second. And this one was going, I had my camera on the tripod upright, and then I set it off and went like this for the 2 seconds. And it came out rather interesting. Not as nice as some of those with the birch trees. And this one is going the other way. I had the camera down and I set it off and went up.
So was this the same set of trees that you did?
Same set of trees,
It's interesting.
same position. It was kind of fun.
Different look, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a different look.
I really like that one. The other one would make a good abstract though.
Yeah. And some I've had where, as you see that coming down, I got it to kind of come up, but not to my satisfaction. This one I liked, especially because the sun was trying to shine through the clouds back there and stuff like that.
How long did it take? What was the time on that one?
Let's see. A quarter of a second, very fast. You have to be real ready
Yeah.
to do it. I would have liked to have had a neutral density filter or something, so I wouldn't have had to move so fast. And when I've done it before, I've done it in darker times or something, and I know I've spent more time on the motion. But in order to do it, I set the camera on, I don't know if it tells me, F20, yeah. Doesn't say what the shutter speed was, it was something like,
Quarter of a second.
Quarter of a second.
yeah, oh, yeah, that's right, it was a quarter of a second. So,
So you didn't put it on shutter priority, you put it on aperture
put
priority.
it on aperture.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah, that's
That was
fine.
really.
And it was fun. But that's the only things, those two are the only ones I did really to meet the challenge. The rest of them I just dug out of my files. So, that
How
was
many
fun.
did you do of these before you got one that you liked?
Oh, I think I probably only did 6 or 7 of them maximum.
Do you mind if I take a picture of it?
No, that's fine.
The times I've done it, the trick is to actually start moving your camera before you release the shutter. Because if you wait,
Yeah, you can't wait.
you won't move it far enough. So it's kind of like panning and shooting at the same time.
Yeah. Press. Press and move.
Yes, right.
And you have to do it like, you can't go this way, I mean, you have to stay in the line and go up.
Well, if you're just pivoting on the tripods. it works.
Yeah, just pivot it on the tripod, that's,
I think it helps too, because that way you're just moving vertically. If you get any jiggling, like by hand, then it's gonna kind of wander.
yeah, this makes the trees straighter. And I'm sure you have seen or will see pictures of birch trees, which are very popular with this method. Do you have any, Al? Have you taken some?
I do not.
There's somebody in the club who has taken,
I'm sure.
I think
Bet you
Jim
Jim
Long.
Long has some.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's a bunch out in the Tetons that are perfect to do that.
Because they're white, you know, and
Yeah,
so you get this,
exactly.
these nice white blurs
Martha,
going
what
up.
What creates your light, the bright light?
The sun.
Okay.
It's about 9 o'clock in the morning, 10
Oh,
o'clock in the
okay.
morning. And the trees are pretty shady.
You do it when the leaves are gone, and do it in black and white, so you just emphasize the trunks.
Okay. And next we have Mary.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd like to transport you to South Dakota, Rapid City, about half hour out of town. There's a place called Cascade Falls. And I wrote down, I turned it shutter priority and tried different timing. I think this one was 1/8 of a second. And then the next one,
Wait, now, how is that,
it's the falls.
makes that ziggy?
I'm not sure why
Was there any artificial light
I
behind
did have a
you?
polarizer on, but the, artificial light, no. Just, the sun,
It's the sun.
yeah. And the next one is the same spot, only it's a tenth of a second, so seems like it,
Captures the,
yeah, it captured the drips in the background. And the third one is also the same spot. I just liked how the layers of, after it fell off the thing.
Were you on a tripod?
No, I was holding it by hand. So,
still pretty exciting.
and this is the same one, but it's the 15th of a second. So, it's a different part of the river.
I kind of like that first one.
Yeah.
Because it goes all the
That
way
first
across.
one was really neat.
Yeah.
And then, I think this one's 1/25th of a second. It's trying different shutter speeds. And that's one that's also 1/25th of a second. And 1/30th of a second. So we're getting shorter time.
Little detail though.
Yeah, more details because it was those two, or 1/30th of a second. But you take the Ray Silva's, but yeah, I haven't had time to watch it yet, so I do want to watch it. You guys all did some wonderful ones. I was just playing with the shutter priorities, so.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's the last
We
one.
have Steve.
Okay, this was
Thank you,
taken at
Mary.
my mother-in-law's pond. I like the lighting, and then I really like the blue, where it come off the lilies, you kind of give like a fractured glass look. This was at 4 seconds, f5.6 and 400 ISO. This was way back when I was first starting with the DSLR, and this was taken with a Canon 30D with a kit lens. This is when I was on one of my storm chases. This is up Penfield. This is 1.6 seconds at f20 and 100 ISO. My son and I went to Starved Rock, and this was one of the waterfalls. Don't have much water coming over the falls, unfortunately. Picked a bad weekend to go. But this was 30 seconds at f22 and ISO 200. And the rest of them are going to be fireworks. That's where I have the opportunity to practice long exposure more than any time. Urbana Country Club has fireworks, and we tend to go to those. Park over at Cunningham. This is 30 seconds at f22.
When do you start shooting?
When you hear the boof.
Okay. All right. Just wondered if.
And
you
sometimes
had-
it's guesswork, and, you know, a lot of times it's more luck than skill, but. And I may have actually had this on a timer where it'd just continually shoot, you know, it'd have a 30-second exposure and then delay like half a second, then it'd do another 30-second exposure. If I remember right, that's what I might have been doing here.
That's easier than thinking.
Yeah. But most of these first ones anyway, are all 6 seconds at f8.
Steve, how do you focus once you don't know where it's gonna be or how?
Well, that was one time I used live view, and the first couple, you just watch in your live view and try to get it focused and then don't touch it.
Lock it down?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't use automatic focus, you have to use manual focus.
Another one?
I like that one with the, it had like a sparkly look to it, doesn't show up very good on the screen, but it had the ones where they kind of go out and has a sparkly look to it, it was kind of cool. I like this one because it showed the trail of it going up. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
This one was actually 5 seconds at f2.8. This was a different camera.
It's in more than one. Yeah, 5 seconds. Is it more than one?
No, it's one shot.
This was one. That's pretty nice one. Wow.
Yeah, Atlanta Country Club puts on a pretty good show, actually.
Champaign does too, but there's a lot more trees around.
Yeah.
Get in your way.
Well, my wife works at Cunningham. She knows we can park there, so we go there and party.
Mhm.
And then we have, thank you,
Okay.
Steve.
Great.
Okay. Susan?
Al, did you sign it and send it back?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, I need to sign this.
yeah, I have you on the list. He's got it.
Oh, so this is,
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Oh, yeah. This was on Tremont Road, Upper Tremont Road. It was just the bottom portion of a cascade, but the red flowers at the bottom of the rock really kind of, just kind of got me. And I don't know what the shutter speed was on this one. Probably a third?
No, it doesn't say. No, sometimes it doesn't tell us.
Yeah.
So I don't know on that. So, but yeah, I just really like that. I like how the flowers kind of interspersed with the water and kind of looked like it turned red.
flowers or was it leaves?
It was kind of like the stringy, almost like, I don't want to say algae, but like a seaweedy. It was very seaweedy looking.
Huh, and red.
But it was very red, yeah, it was just very bright red. This is this in the sketchy, but yes, this was another thing. And I think I went through all of the different, so the instructor there had me doing things like changing my ISO, changing my, aperture, and then doing different shutter speeds to figure out what I liked the best, and I figured out that I liked a third of a second best, because whenever it came over the rock, these little tiny streamlets of water that come over, I really liked that look. It softened it, but you could still see it kind of separated as it came over the rocks, so I really liked that. So I think I kind of stuck with a third of a second after this. So I really liked it.
What's your course on this type of photography, or did they have other things they did?
Well, there was a guy at this place that was just helping everybody that was there. We did everything. Are you talking about the whole workshop?
Yeah.
There was a lot of water. I mean, there was a lot of places, so there was a lot of water photography. But we also were at other places where they were instructing us at different locations on different things as well. So there were places like when we were on, was it Elkmont, where they did buildings? Yeah, there were buildings there, and trees, things like that. So we kind of got more into that type of photography.
You can give it to Steve. You don't need to sign it, it's free.
Has it been to the other people?
Thank you.
You went,
I signed for him in absentia, and now he's here.
Sorry, I got stuck up with the funding meeting, so.
Glad to hear.
Well, I brought you some pictures for you.
Oh,
Here's you out on the screen,
oh, nice.
and here's Lake Charleston.
Oh.
Okay, just brought you the prints.
this is that one I like again, with the same angle.
This is
I love this one.
off on a balcony off of one of these old homes that's up there in the mountains and looking up. And on the lower right-hand corner, part of the stone wall of the balcony is shown, but I just honed it out. So none of those rocks in the bottom corner actually exist.
We wouldn't have known that.
I thought you did a good job coding, so that was good. So, and I don't know what the shutter speed is here, I think this was before I did the other place, so I don't know.
I don't know. So now, it's not telling us with your camera. Okay. And the last one?
And this is, that was on that bridge, I
Yeah,
think.
same one,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah,
Looks a lot like.
yeah.
Okay.
That's yellow.
There's a lot of yellow.
Yeah. Like this past week.
I think that concludes our photos. Kim, did you guys want to do the quick presentation on the Instagram that Susan and Dorcam, or however you wanted to work it?
Yeah, we just basically just wanted to talk about, just wanted to explain a little bit how our Instagram account works. And, you know, and how the members can use it. Susan's our Instagram girl. Susan, and by the way, Susan and Dorcam are the ones who are in charge of our Instagram account, so.
Okay.
So what I found out is, and you probably know this, Dorcam, is that if you, when you're putting a photo on Instagram, you can use hashtags, which are basically like tic-tac-toe signs. And what those do is they label your photo. So like if you do hashtag camera club or hashtag champagne camera, people can go in and search that hashtag, and all the photos with that hashtag will come up. So that's pretty much all it does, is just labels it, and it gives it an identifier. And so you can give it as many hashtags as you want, different things, you know, where you took it, you know, what kind of photography, whatever you want to call it, you can. But you can also tag people and tag other pages. And that is the @ sign, like you use for email. So you would actually, if you wanted to tag the camera club, you would do @ and all, no spaces, @ Champagne Camera. That's our page name, isn't it? Champagne? Yes, okay.
Champagne Camera.
Is that would be bad if I get the wrong thing. @ Champagne Camera, and what that does is then when an administrator goes on a page, they can see all the photos that have been tagged. They don't show up for everybody else, but then they can take those photos and actually share them onto the page. So if you'd like your photos to show up on the page, you can tag them. Again, that's @ and then Champagne Camera, all, no spaces in there. And also by doing so, when you do that, we've kind of thought that'd be a good way of you saying it's okay to share them. So if you don't want them shared, don't do that. But if you do want to share them on our Instagram page, that's the way to do it. And that's if you're actually on your Instagram page posting them. So that was that on that. And then, you know, Gordon or whoever can go in and see those and then say, okay, share. And they can actually post them, and then they will show up in the feed.
Yeah, apart from that, if you don't have an Instagram account or anything, you can just directly email us. Or if you don't want to share that on your own page, for some reason, you can directly again email us. We can share them. And in case if you have a page and want to get the credit, we can tag you in the post too. And we might add some hashtags to get more traction on our account too. Like, you know, we can add like nature, etc. There are hashtags that are followed by kind of millions of people. So
Yeah.
it helps to get more followers.
So if we send you an @ Champagne Camera, can we add hashtags as well, or should we just?
Yeah,
send
you can do
people-
hashtags and tag, and you can tag more than one page.
That's what I was gonna ask.
So, is whoever you tag in there, you can, I mean, there are people who have huge
Yes.
lists of hashtags and tags.
And then you said the other day, you want a square format?
Yeah, if we're gonna post it ourselves, square format is the best one. I think you can share other ratios too, but they don't show up as good.
Yeah, and if you do like the size that you put on Facebook, you can kind of pinch it in a little bit. Sometimes you might end up losing some of the sides, a little bit, like a crotch.
Instagram has a portrait format that they'll use, and I can't remember what it is offhand, but most of the time you want to be one-to-one on Instagram.
Yeah, in a phone it fits perfect with the square one.
if I was a new person wanting to find out more about the club, and I'm on Instagram, how would I do that if I wanted to find out about the Camel Club?
We can put a link to a website on our bio,
Oh.
which would help. And if we have some graphic design or anything, and if we want to let people know about our activities, events, etc., we can post them as posts too. They would show up. And if we end up getting some number of followers, we can share stories with links to events, etc., etc.
So our vested show's coming up in February, so we can actually post on Instagram account then that particular graphic.
Yeah.
Right? And, information, I guess when we post it, then we can actually put in the caption, whatever, with any information like the dates or whatever.
We can, if we have more information on the website, we can put a link.
Just do,
In
yeah,
there.
that's true, yeah, because then the entry form would be on the website, so we can just.
Usually it works best when you have like a very short amount of text in the caption, so people don't usually end up spending too much time reading that. So it should be something like, capturing the attention for a short amount of time, giving enough information and maybe drawing people to just click on the link.
Any other comments on the Instagram then?
Well, we were also going to do, I know like when we have competitions, the winning images, we thought that would be something good that we could put on, Instagram as well. And again, that would be something that you could either email them, or just email both, or just either one of you, and then, or we can actually take them at the time of the competition, we could just put them on a thumb drive, and then both of them can put them on our account. But I think that would be good. And when you post them, you don't necessarily have to do them all at once. It's probably good to do a little at a time to keep the activity.
Yeah, we can do that. We can pretty much do that.
Is there any other businesses anybody wants to bring up?
Well, we have like one more meeting, right, this month?
Well, our next meeting will be December 13th for the drone, our actual meeting.
For the drone,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Do you want to say anything about Sand Hill Cranes?
Yeah, I mentioned that at the very beginning. There will be some more information coming out. I'm still planning it, but it will be November 20th. At the tentative schedule, it'd be leave around 8 or 9 in the morning here from Champaign. Go by Kankakee Sand, see if the bison are out. That's kind of a roll of the dice. Sometimes they're really close, sometimes they're way out, but even at that, it's still a beautiful preserve to photograph. The overlook, they've got a high area where you can look out over the whole preserve. It's beautiful. Then they've also got another parking lot over on the main highway that you can look, and the bison can be either place or neither one. And after we decide that we've seen what we can see there, we can head up towards Jasper Pulaski. The goal there is to get the cranes right at sunset as they're coming over your head, and you'll get the cranes in front of the setting sun as they're going back into the protected preserve. They've got an observation tower. The observation tower can be a little crowded at times, especially if there's high sandhill crane counts and everybody wants to get that shot. So I'm going to look and see whether we can find other roads when we're up there. When we leave Kankakee Sands and go up to Jasper, we won't go to the observation tower right away because they'll spread out during the day in the farm fields around, and you can catch them dancing and feeding and chattering with each other. It's really enjoyable. And then towards sunset, an hour before sunset, we'll head over to the platform. If it's crowded, we'll see if we can find somewhere we can park on the road or just off the road where even at ground level, we can still get that shot of them moving in front of the sunset back into the preserve. So that's kind of the basic plan. Try to get more details, and do a little more research on it, sunset times and so on, and we'll go from there.
Did you say what day it was?
November 20. And then we'll have a backup date, tentatively December 5 if it's rainy or snowy or the cranes haven't shown up yet. They've been a little slow showing up this year. I think part of that's due to the warm weather. Part of that is due to the wet weather we had in October when they did, or in early November when they did move in. They didn't necessarily have to stay in the preserve. They spread all out. So I expect this next count to be a little higher. So.
Did they go on from that spot?
Well, eventually they'll move on farther south. You can find them again down at Goose Pond, which is south of Terre Haute. A lot of times they'll spend their winter down closer to the Gulf Coast, Florida and Gulf Coast. The biggest migration is out in Nebraska, but that's a little too far to drive for a one-day event. But that's the huge sandhill crane migration.
Yeah, near Kearney. John and Martha and I went that one year, and I know Dave Stone camped out overnight
Right.
to get.
Yeah, that's the big sandhill crane event, but the one up in northwest Indiana is still quite a spectacular. If you get the right weekend, last year around the third week of December, they had 30,000 on the preserve. So if you get those kind of weekends, you can get a lot of good shots. Lens choice, as always, longer lens is better, but especially when you're feeding in the fields, you don't necessarily need a huge lens at times. And then if you're wanting that landscape shot, you're going to want more of a wide lens anyway. And then the other one I want to try to plan is a Christmas light outing Saturday in December, but I still have some research to do where it might be the best place to go. We're tentatively thinking about going to Allerton. I've got to check up and see what the Railway Museum's doing. Downtown's usually really nice. And of course, Allerton Park, they have a wonderful walk-through display. But there's other choices too.
Can you stop while you're walking and take a shot with a tripod?
You mean when you're driving?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it's not.
Because I know Peoria, and the Peoria Camera Club, which is huge, got permission to go through their thingy, but they still weren't able to stop.
Right.
So,
Well,
Yeah, a lot of the big.
This is not on a road. This is sidewalk, and
yeah,
there's no, you don't have to follow any, you know, you can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I'm looking around, see if there's others we can do as well, and lastly, I wanted to thank you for the card. I didn't expect that, and
Oh,
I
wow.
appreciate the sentiment and
Wow.
knowing that you appreciate
You
what
did a lot
I'm
of
doing.
work
That means a lot.
and motley people going here and there.
Well, like I said, I didn't do everything perfect last time. Well, I'll get a little better at it as we go. So.
Well, we now know if we want sunrise over Lake Charleston, we don't go to the park first, we go
Yeah.
directly down.
Well, when I looked at it on Google Maps, that was
It
part of
looks
my
like
fault.
it's right next to the lake.
Well, when I looked at it on Google Maps, it didn't look like there was any place to park. I even zoomed in on the satellite, and I didn't know that little parking lot was there that evidently Al knew about.
Well, I didn't know about the parking lot, but I knew you could get close to the.
Right, I wasn't sure. I thought it was at the road, you know.
And when I went back to get the herons and everything, in fact, I was walking down I went to the other pullout where you can park right next to the lake. But I think we chose the best one for dawn light, but.
Well, sunrise, that was her only choice, because when I looked it up on my app, that was the angle, the only angle we had. We could find some place on the lake where the sun was over the lake.
Yeah.
And the other place we went, you either didn't have any visibility or the sun was coming up south of the lake, so.
Okay. Well, when I went back, I went out the other pullout, and I was hiking down along the lake to get some more shots, and I hear this loud screeching, and it's a heron coming in over our heads, and the other guy who was on the left said, "That scared me to death." But they were flying around posing for us, but.
That's good. It's good.
So, yeah, I've never been to Lake Charleston before, so.
And that was my first
Well,
time
too bad
at
I
all
couldn't
three of
been
those
there.
spots down there.
We would have had to explain which pullout we were at. too,
Yeah,
So, you could have,
I could have told you how to get around there a little better.
yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
And I sort of apologize for that. I was waiting in the wrong place.
No, yeah, we were late too, so, and I didn't have your number offhand, so anyway,
Well,
yeah,
anyway, if you want to redo it sometime
okay.
in the future,
We'll
why,
definitely keep that in mind, we'll have a little better,
yeah,
little better
yeah.
coordination next time, so.
Yeah.
Next spring when the birds are coming through.
Yeah, migration, I can imagine that migration is pretty good there at Fox Ridge and even Warbler Ridge.
Steve, on the zone, on the you know, the one on December, we're gonna have the, during the, drone deal. I will bring in some pictures
Okay,
taken with it. The unit does have a camera on it, and has a very high quality camera, so I'll bring in some of those and let you see what it's all about. And if Martha can bring the computer and everything, well, maybe we can see if we can't take a look at the pictures on the screen with the computer.
okay,
Okay.
sounds good. Well, I guess that's all we have, and thanks for showing up. I did take video, and I'll put that link up. It's usually towards the weekend before I get the video processed and up, and where you can review it, or members that couldn't show up can still see and participate in our club. That was one of my goals, to do the video, with the ones that weren't able to come for whatever reason, they could still feel like a part of the group.
Okay. And Martha, you'll send Kim and me the 6 pictures? Okay, great.
And if anybody wants some of these, they can post someplace. This is just our advertising.
Were we still planning
What we call a basket show.
Well, we'll talk about that next Monday. I didn't mention that, I didn't really have it here, yeah, so.
Yes.
Hey, Martha.
Shoot the laptop down on the desk and start typing.
Martha, my pictures came through, that picture came through terrible. What happened?
It was, unfortunately, the room and the projector.